So right now in the internet, what is the hottest topic? Obviously P. Diddy and him on the run, especially taking off in his private jet, supposedly going to Antigua in a Caribbean island that perhaps may or may not have extradition treaties with the United States. Now, I've explained some differences between, let's say, the Federal Bureau of Investigation as opposed to Homeland Security, and why Homeland Security is taking over this case. And I urge you to take a look at the two videos that I've made on that particular topic. For one, where I first reacted to the breaking news while I was at a Kings game, and two, the particular live that I did for 2 hours, which you can see on the live section regarding P. Diddy. And I went into details about that. But here's one particular detail I don't think a lot of people around the world are really talking about, at least just within the mainstream news, not so much with the gangster channels or the MMA channels or anything that may be in significance to the P. Diddy case, right? The one person that is involved in this whole entire thing is Prince Harry, and nobody is talking about it for one reason or another. Maybe there's just not enough information about it. But I did run across a New York Times article where they basically had Prince Harry involved. And by the way, let me make this very clear. It's a lawsuit, not so much of a criminal case, but involved in a lawsuit with, by the way, implications of human trafficking as well. Now, what's interesting about this is that no one would have saw this coming, right? Considering that, well, some may have seen it coming, also considering the fact that his uncle is Prince Andrew. Now, if you guys know anything about Prince Andrew, obviously he's known for being a pedophile, has a reputation for, let's say, inviting a lot of young girls into the palace in where he lives at in London, in Buckingham Palace to be exact. And obviously this is a reputation that he has on top of being friends with Jeffrey Epstein. All these elites that have this taste for, let's say, underage women and whatnot. So how is he involved in this whole entire thing? We don't know. But we do know there's pictures of him and Prince Harry and Kanye and P. Diddy. You could look at it in the community section in this page. I have a link from the New York Times article regarding this particular subject. And I thought this was interesting because, man, I gotta tell you, back in the days, if you guys remember when Princess Diana had died, right, back in 1997 in that car accident, I remember they were asking all the artists on MTV, whether they were rap artists, whether they were, let's say, rockers, whether they were pop singers or something to that extent, right? They asked him, what do you think about Princess Diana's death? And I remember vividly Mace and P. Diddy were on camera basically saying, man, you know what? She seems like a very kind person, somebody that you'd like to hug or this and that. I don't know if I could find that footage of him saying that, but I'm sure it's somewhere in the MTV vaults of, let's say, archives or sort of say, right? So once again, obviously, there's a lot of scandal going on in Prince Harry's family. Obviously, his sister-in-law right now, Kate, has cancer, has been diagnosed with such. So has Prince Charles. And I got to tell you, man, this is just adding even more stress into that whole entire family, on top of the fact that obviously he got into it with the little public spat that he had with his family. So where is P. Diddy now, right? Let me give you a couple of speculations. Okay, so here's a couple of speculations, and again, I'm not presenting this to be true in any regard. I'm just simply giving you speculations, right? So could it be that he may have, let's say, created some sort of diversion, right? Now, we can't put it past P. Diddy because obviously this is the kind of person that he is. He's very intelligent. He wouldn't be where he's at if he wasn't. So maybe he had his jet fuel supposedly going to Antigua, and then in the midst of that, perhaps maybe he was doing something to the extent of flying somewhere else that was off the radar. Now, for those of you that know anything about combat sports, obviously there's a figure in the game of boxing named Daniel Kinahan. Now, why is this significant? So Daniel Kinahan is also on the run. He was the former CEO of the MTK Global brand, which, by the way, they facilitated and managed boxers, MMA fighters such as Tyson Fury, Darren Till, and then the list goes on. Munir Aziz in the UFC, a whole bunch of roster of people on MMA and boxing, and even had their own promotions and had their own fight events that they had staged. And one notable event they had was out in Ireland, where their whole entire card got shot up during a weigh-in. So now Daniel Kinahan had his assets frozen just right before Dylan White was about to fight Tyson Fury. And this is probably the same exact reason why Tyson Fury has a hard time coming to America. Also with Tommy Fury, if you remember, some of the reasons why they weren't able to pull off the Jake Paul fight from the very beginning, which was supposed to be staged in the United States, was because Tommy Fury just didn't have the visa to be able to come here simply because of his affiliation with Daniel Kinahan. So now where is Daniel Kinahan after the feds had seized his property and everything like that, right? We don't know. There's a lot of people that are speculating that perhaps maybe he's in Iran, maybe he's in Russia, and perhaps you can point out that maybe this is where P. Diddy is going to plan on escaping towards, because once again, there's no extradition treaty with Russia, nor with Iran. So these are the only places in the world where you can possibly look at and say, you know what, these are the perfect places to run. Maybe even Afghanistan. Obviously, you guys know that the Taliban runs that place, and they're not going to cooperate with the United States under any circumstances. Of course, maybe, just maybe, here's the crazy thing about this, right? Let's just say in a hypothetical situation that P. Diddy is in Afghanistan, right? Now, would the Taliban give him up? No. And a lot of that would depend on what kind of crime he did. Now, what if the United States tried to plea with, let's say, the Taliban and say, you know what? You guys are harboring a child Chester, right? I don't want to say the exact name because obviously there's monetization aspects of YouTube that you don't want to interfere with, and also just putting yourself in a bad algorithm. But yeah, let's say you tell the head of the Taliban, and let's say they're foreign councils and people that deal with foreign affairs and whatnot. You tell them, hey, listen, this guy, he did this to children or this and that. He human trafficked and this and that. Do you really want to harbor a guy like that? Perhaps maybe they can plead with somebody like that. With Russia, not so much, right? Or maybe with Iran. Again, everything I'm saying is all speculation, including everything that we're talking about with Prince Harry. But worth noting, the implication of Prince Harry in this story is not so much with criminal charges, because obviously he's a resident of California, right? So you don't know whether they're going to press charges with him. But as for now, everything is put in a civil trial, and he's part of it. He's been name dropped in that particular instance. So we're going to see what happens from there. But so far, this is all that I really have for this particular topic at hand. Let's try to recap about everything that I had just mentioned, right? So for a long time, P. Diddy has been a fan of Princess Diana, has sung her praises when she had passed away back in 1997. Prince Harry and P. Diddy know each other probably through Meghan Markle and the crowd of the elites of people that are all connected together, right? And obviously Meghan Markle has Hollywood ties and whatnot, so the connection is there. You've seen pictures of him and Kanye taking pictures together back in the days. That's when him and his brother Prince William were all cool with each other and were still cordial and whatnot. And now there's a criminal case. There's not a criminal case against him, but there is a lawsuit. So that's really important to try to differentiate, right? Because I know that probably the headline of this is going to be sensationalized, and it's going to make people think that there's some criminal aspects to it in terms of charges and and accusations and whatnot. But for now, that is all that we have in terms of lawsuits versus actual criminal trials. Also, where is P. Diddy? Could he have created a diversion? Could he have gone to the same countries that perhaps Daniel Kinahan has gone to? Or maybe, just maybe, he may have created some sort of diversion to where he met up with his lawyers. He's still in the United States, but perhaps maybe he wanted to take time to talk with his lawyers so that he doesn't look like a flight risk in any kind of way if he has to, let's say, try to post bail. Because remember, one of the reasons why they would be able to give you some sort of post bail scenario is if you're not a flight risk. But if you actually took the time to fly out in a jet and get out of here when people know that they're looking for you, you may be seen as a flight risk. But either way, it's an interesting ongoing story. This is all that I have for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the other videos that I have made regarding P. Diddy, the reaction that I made on the live stream, the two reactions that I made on the live stream back to back, and in this particular video right here that I had just made regarding Prince Harry's involvement with P. Diddy. Don't forget to like and subscribe once again. I'll see you guys soon, inshallah.